I'm gonna let you in on a secret here. I know things about these cards that haven't been released because data miners are amazing when it comes to looking at the future of what's happening in Marvel Snap. And we look at the November cards here and realize it's a whole Spider season. There's so many cool cards that are focused around Spider-Man and the lore of Spider-Man, but some of this is not 100% right, at least on this, pointing the wrong way, this website in particular, based on what other data miners have found. So let's talk about November really quickly. There's really exciting cards, really exciting cards coming. The season pass is the big one, right? Spider-Punk. I think it makes total sense that this is like a season pass card, but it's a little bit more unique than I think people realize because the new Spider cards offer a lot. Take a look at this. This is listed here as a 3-2, and I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. According to my data miner friend connections, this is not a 3-2 when it releases. It looks like it's going to have more power. That is unconfirmed. I don't know if it's going to be a 3-3 or a 3-4 or a 3-72. I don't know, but it looks like it's going to have more power. You can move this once. When this moves to a location, steal 2 power from the highest power enemy there. Now, that's interesting to me. It's almost reverse thinking and engineering about Shang-Chi, where you're so used to, okay, you're gonna destroy the highest card here. And stealing from the highest power enemy in that lane. Certain locations are going to absolutely love seeing that. However, in general, I mean, already it's a 3-4, but based on what we have seen in data mine informations, it's potentially going to be even more. Could be 3-5, maybe even as high as 3-6. I'd be shocked if it's 3-6. You know what I mean? Like, I really think it'd be a shock and a half if that was the case. And when I say 3-6, I realize I'm underspeaking it because it's a 3-2 base, then steals 2 from the lane that it moves to. So it's a total of 3-6 currently listed, potentially be 3-7 or high as 3-8, etc. So you get the idea, right? I think that that's pretty cool because you separate his ability. He's a multiple mover. You can move this one, so it has that Nocturne, that Nightcrawler, Jeff the Baby Landshark effect, where you get the choice of moving it once. But if you move it multiple times, it steals power multiple times. So this is a fun scaler in a little bit less of a high Human Torchy way, right? This is more of a tech controlling kind of a way. And what really sucks with this card coming out is the fact that Luke Cage exists. And I really hope that they nerf the ever-living hell out of that card, because otherwise it's going to completely negate the entire thing of the season pass. It's just going to be an absolutely garbage season pass if Luke Cage exists, because you can't steal. It literally negates the entire card and just becomes a 3-2 that can move. Well, I might as well just play Nightcrawler. If Marvel Snap sees this, please, for the love of everything, at least for the next month, can we do something about Luke Cage? Let me know in the comments below if you agree with that. I think you kind of have to. Now, and look, some of the art on these is just, the art and the data mines, like these are awesome. These are so good. This one from the season pass is just bananas. And there's gonna be so many cool, I wanna put the PAX border on it I'm getting off topic, but point is, I think that this is a good season pass in a world that Luke Cage doesn't affect the entire board, and it's really conditional on that. Then also simultaneously, you have several other cards coming out, right? You have the Series 4 of Web Sling. Now, to my understanding, by seeing this as Series 4, this is the card that will come with the Super Premium Season Pass. It's a 1-cost skill, excuse me. On reveal, next turn, you can move one of your cards away from here. So it's a 1-cost single turn Madam Web. Every move deck wants that. I mean, this might be the card that replaces Aranya in many decks, because I think that that's incredibly powerful. I really like this. I mean, I can't think of anything else that you really want to use it for. Maybe those weird, cheeky Cerebro type things that do the multiple manness. Like there could be something that happens there, because it's cheaper than having to play that. Shuri into Galactus, oh dear God. That's a scary thought that we can have Shuri into, you do Web Sling, then you do Shuri, move out the Shuri, and then play a 10 power Galactus. I mean, there's a lot of cool things that we can do with this. You know, even Nimrod type stuff likes that as well for the same similar lines. Like, good skill, right? Good skill. Simple, cheap, great effect. But the lane restrictions also for only one cost for a moving of whatever you want. I mean, Prof X comes to mind. Lots of cool extra pieces. Then it has Man Spider and the Superior Spider-Man. Let's start with Man Spider here, okay? 5/1 on reveal. Merge the last card you played into this. When this merges, double its power. There's two things about this that stand out to me, all right? Number one, the merger being attached to the on reveal means that you can't proc this multiple times consecutively, right? You can't play this on turn 5, merge a card from turn 4, and then Grandmaster it on turn 6 because it won't register the Grandmaster. You have to play another card and then Grandmaster it to make it work. It's going to be a card that takes some timing and planning. However, it's really scary if you get multiple merges, but you have to successfully target multiple merges. Because it's an on reveal and it's the last card you played, if you're re-triggering it multiple times, or trying to re-trigger it multiple times, I think that this is a no-brainer. You have to play this with Ravonna Renslayer because it's a 5/1, which means this is a 4/1 merging Hulkbuster, Iron Man, symbiote Spider-Man type thingy to double its power. And that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. I think that this is a card that succeeds very quickly in the game. Very, very quickly. Because it's doing not just a doubling of power, but typically mergers very often end up being re-triggers. So I'm curious to see if this also ends up re-triggering or not. It is cool though. I think this card makes meta relevance very quickly. I really, really do. And it's a fun merger. So base cards that get doubled and merge, like, it's interesting. Superior Spider-Man, let's move to him for a second. 3/4, at the start of each turn, you get +1 energy if you have any cards with increased power in play. Is it just me, or is this busted? This is the card that brings the potential death to Arishem, in my opinion. Because anything that has increased power is anything with green power. So think of all of the 1-cost cards that can easily do that. You know, it's not like we just had an entire season where everybody had incredibly easy access to, you know, the Hunger, which is a 1/3 because of the Horde. And that's now green power, which means that you drop that down and then you're getting +1 energy. Right, you guys are saying it there. Nebula, great example of that one as well. Silver Sable, great example of that one in there. Sunspot, great example of that one. Like, having that extra energy to build, like I said, build your own Arishem. I think that that's potentially what makes this more plug-in playable than Hope Summers, potentially, and that's scary. Moving on. Now, I know Chameleon is listed in 2 different places here, and it says limited time event, and then this says series 4, and I don't know which date is correct or which thing is correct. That I have not gotten confirmed, but we can talk about the card nevertheless. We have a series 4 releasing eventually at some point in the month named Chameleon. On reveal, 3/3, copy the text of another card here you revealed this turn. So it kind of feels like, I don't know. To me, I feel like this is just like a worse version of Grandmaster and Prodigy and a bunch of these cards. Potentially. I do see synergy with Surfer because it is a 3-cost and you want to play this plus Surfer in the same lane on the same turn. Like, I get that. But it's all the same, exactly. It's all competing in the same space. You have Silver Surfer First Steps, which is a 3/5 that will take it on reveal and then make it proc a second time because it'll take on the effect. Then you've got Absorbing Man, which is a 4-cost variation. No matter what lane it's in, it's taking the last on reveal and making it happen again. Then you've got Chameleon, who wants to be same lane, copy the text of another card that just also revealed that turn. So maybe there's some delay synergy that happens in that with Invisible Woman, for example, because of that, you know, that delay of time. I don't know. It just feels like a card we don't necessarily need. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to try some like Hit Monkey potential shenanigans with this card. That'd be a crazy way to scale some stuff, but it's interesting. Ezekiel Sims, 2/2. After you play a card with higher power here, give this +2 and move it to another location. You play Ezekiel on 2. You play Hope Summers in the same lane on 3. It then goes to 2/4, moves to another lane. Turn 4, you play, you have 4, Galacta. You play Galacta in that lane. Ezekiel then goes to a 2/6, moves out to another lane. Why do I feel like this is just worse hit monkey? Even at 2, it doesn't jump out at me as a like card I want to necessarily be playing, because sure, there are some decks that would love this. Like I could even see this in something like Sauron, because it's a 2-drop that just scales progressively because everything you're dropping after that is higher than 2, 4, or 6, or 8. You know, it doesn't make sense. I think that this is a lower end card, to be honest here. I would rather do Hitmonkey decks because there's a lot more cheaper on reveals than number of cards that I can get this to move around enough times to make it interesting. Do you think that this could move more than once per turn? Yes, absolutely. According to the way this is listed, it doesn't say once a turn. It's after you play a card with higher power here, wherever it is. So there is a world where, let's say you play it down on 5, and then on turn 6, you play 2 cards back to back that are higher than it, and they're both at least 6 power. Yeah, it would move twice and become a 2/6. I just don't know if that much work is worth what this card gives you. Hunger becomes available into the series 4 drops, and then we get to Spider-Man Noir. Now, this is the other card. This is the other card that my data miner friends have told me is going to release stronger than it's listed. How strong? I don't know. But right now, here on we use Snap.fan for the data mine stuff, it is currently saying 4/4. Apparently, that is not potentially the case. It might release stronger than this. Either way, on reveal, if your other cards in play cost exactly 8 total, add the top card of your deck here and set its power to 8, minus this card, because it's if every other cards. You have to look at other cards that give you multiple cards, is the only real way to do this. So like Mr. Sinister, for example. Mr. Sinister gives you 2 2-cost cards. Mysterio gives you 3 2-cost cards. Brood, 2 strong. You got 3 3-cost cards. So it's gonna take a little finagling, but at the same time, that amount of ramp power of set the next card's power to 8, depending on the style of deck that you're building, that could be very good. And especially if this ends up getting more base power and it has that effect, that's pretty cool, right? At least I think it is. But yeah, your token cards are going to be your best friend if you're trying to curve this out perfectly. The other thing that's not being talked about with this card is it's a deck thinner. You pull this off, you pull a card out of your deck for free, similar to Jubilee. Now, Jubilee, granted, it can be any card of any cost and any power, and it will keep it as is. But if you're playing a deck that wants to buff a whole bunch of stuff to it and then throw it down on the board and set its power to 8, I mean, that might be an easy way to just get extra power out there. I think the card description is unique, but it does feel like a very difficult card to build around. Not difficult to build around. It feels like a very difficult card to want to play because it's going to take a lot of mental capacity. I hate to say it and be honest about it. A lot of mental capacity to get this card to work consistently. But as soon as someone figures it out, forget it. Don't forget about Makari. Next up, Deafening Chord. Now this also, just like Chameleon, it said limited time event. I'm not 100% sure yet, but Deafening Chord, it is another 1-cost skill, another one coming out. On reveal, afflict an enemy character here that costs 3 or less with -1 power and remove its text. This card single-handedly kills Red Guardian. It absolutely decimates Red Guardian. I would never want to play Red Guardian except in a Surfer deck over this. The super targeting of the lowest card of Red Guardian for 2 extra cost to do the same thing that you're really basically trying to do, which is hit the card that's there. And this is at 1 cost. This is a stupid busted card, in my opinion. This is a must-have card, in my opinion. It's a stupid busted card. I think that this is one of the stronger cards of the season, and the fact that it's releasing as a series, I'd assume it was a limited time event. I'm assuming it's a series 4. That's wild to me. This is really, really strong. You're going to want to play whatever this is here. You're gonna want to play this to get this. Hydra Man, listed from the limited time event, which should look very familiar to you. 5/8, on reveal, set the cost of each deck's top card to 1. Here's what I throw out to you. And I'd love to hear your comments down in the comments below. Which synergy is better than Mobius plus Anti-Venom or Mobius plus this? You could build a cheater deck. Absolutely. But the thing that this does the best is it offers those 5+1 final turns another alternative. So your 5+1s are your Darkhawk plus Stature, because you played a Black Bolt on 5, or a Miles Morales because you also moved a shield. That kind of combination for a turn 6 play is what this is manifesting for everybody. And that seems incredibly good. I think this also ends up being a good card. It ends up being a pretty flexible card for those 5+1 packages. Ignore that because that's not true. And then the card that a lot of people are excited for, both for lore as well as just what the card itself does, the Prowler. Prowler is a 3/4 on reveal. Add 2 Thief's Tools to your hand. Set their costs to 0 if a card moved last turn. Now, you know how easy it is to move cards, especially when you've got, I don't know, a season pass that you can move at any point once. So just, okay. What are Thief's Tools? Well, let's dive into the Thief's Tools. You have 3 different Thief's Tools that at least are listed down here. We have Remote Mines, it's a 1-cost skill. And remember, all these could potentially cost 0. 1-cost skill, worst case scenario, afflict the 2 highest power enemy cards here with -2 power. So it's either a 1/4 or a 0/4. Then you've got Vibroshock Gauntlets, another 1-cost skill. On reveal, give your highest power card here +2 power. You get +1 energy next turn. So it's kind of taking the Mr. Fantastic First Steps pieces and says you can kind of have both in a way, sort of, you know, it's close to that idea. You know, you get a little bit of a Fastos feel, a little bit of a Mr. Fantastic First Steps feel. It's here, you get a little bit of everything on the Vibroshock Gauntlets, and then you get Flight Harness on reveal. Give your highest power card here +1 power and move it to the right. So even if you didn't have any other move cards and you got Flight Harness, play Flight Harness on one of the turns, and then the other turn, the other token is reduced down to 0 cost. Prowler just seems like the best card of the month. But then you have to start asking the question, is this better than Kate Bishop? Because on the one end, it's a 3-cost card to get the 2 skills. On the other end, it helps certain lines because you're freeing up board space. And then the last end is Luke Cage! Come on! Sorry, not that I have a passion about it or anything, but I do think that Luke Cage needs to be addressed, because then what could be the most exciting card of the month and the most plug-and-play card of the month could end up losing half of its value. This is the card I'm most excited to play. And you should be too, because we've seen what the Nico Minorus do. We've seen what the Kate Bishops do. They create exciting options for all decks. Merlin even does that organically. Now you got this. Werewolf Nicholas Scratch, go for it, have fun. Zombies, more skills, go have fun. Like there's some cool things that can happen here. Either way, keep an eye on this card, because it might be the card that shoots up to the top 10 in Marvel Snap very quickly. But as of right now, I think the cards to be personally most excited for, Web Sling, Spider-Punk, and Superior Spider-Man all look absolutely fantastic, and Deafening Chord and Prowler look absolutely fantastic. Those would be the ones I would target if I had to pick and choose out of that. Which of them excite you? I think this is going to be in a very exciting season, as long as they nerf Luke Cage. Please? Oh yeah, by the way, like and subscribe. You know that. You know that though, right?